Straight ahead at 5, a massive explosion levels a home in Santa Fe. Hear from neighbors who woke up to that blast overnight.
Plus, a deputy convicted of beating an inmate receives his sentence, how long he'll spend behind bars, and how he could return to a career in law enforcement.
Coverage you can count on. KOAT Action 7 News at 5 starts right now.
Look at this video from Sky 7 of a massive explosion in Santa Fe. It destroyed a casita, but amazingly, no one was hurt.
But people felt that blast from as far as 10 miles away. Action 7 News anchor Shelby Cashman is in Santa Fe tonight with a closer look at the damage.
Imagine this, you're fast asleep when a massive explosion goes off, sending debris everywhere. And we spoke to one neighbor in this Santa Fe neighborhood who said he thought it was a bomb. A usually quiet Santa Fe neighborhood off of Old Las Vegas Highway near El Gancho.
It rattled the windows in the house.
Was anything but quiet late last night.
That was quite a bomb. I was asleep and it woke me right up. That sounded like a bomb went off.
It turns out it was this 1,200 square foot guest house explosion about a quarter of a mile up the road from where Steve Blotter and his wife have lived for decades.
Because it was so loud, I thought it could have been something at our house.
Debris could be found as far as a mile away. We saw things like insulation in trees and huge pieces of wood like this with nails coming out of it. It prompted a huge response from local authorities, including state fire marshal, arson investigators, New Mexico State Police, and the State Liquid and Propane Gas Bureau.
We responded last night, spent all night and all morning here. We're still here on scene.
Steve told me the explosion was so loud that it didn't even compare to the time a semi blew out a tire on the interstate right behind his house.
That woke me up also, but there was no comparison to what this pop was.
Miraculously, Steve's dogs may have been the only ones for 10 miles not to hear the blast.
Well, they all slept through it.
Crews on scene tell me they're waiting for engineers to come and take a look at the damage so they can figure out what caused this. In Santa Fe, Shelby Cashman, KOAT Action 7 News.
Crews say cleanup could take at least a month.
A judge handed down a sentence today to a Bernalillo County deputy who was charged in connection with the beating of a suspect. Action 7 News reporter Marissa Armas has details on what happened in court.
Deputy David Primazon was fired last year after he was charged with aggravated battery. Earlier this year, a jury found Primazon guilty of beating suspect Christopher Lucero in March of 2018, following a chase that went through the South Valley and ended in a crash. Primazon's attorney argued in court that the deputy was a devoted father and had a distinguished career. Prosecutors said he engaged in street justice, but a judge ultimately determined that the former deputy be sentenced to 3 years supervised probation. That means he will have to take routine drug tests and check in with the probation officer. He will also have to pay Lucero's restitution and do a total of 300 hours of community service. The judge also ruled that if Primazon successfully completes his probation, his sentence will be deferred. That means the conviction can be thrown out. Marissa Armas, KOAT Action 7 News.
If Primazon successfully completes his probation, he would be allowed to carry a handgun and could continue a career in law enforcement.
New on 7, a southern New Mexico man is facing 69 counts of forgery after being accused of embezzling. The Deeanna County Sheriff's Office says Robert Lonsinger stole his business's checks and made some out to himself. Deputies say the practice cost his employer more than $640,000. The checks ranged in amounts of $800 to $9,500 over a period of about 18 months. Lonsinger is being held without bond. Deputies are looking into how a 6-year-old brought a handgun to school today. The Chavez County Sheriff's Department says the student brought the gun to school for show and tell and wasn't planning anything malicious with it. You could see the gun there. It was a small revolver. CYFD and the Juvenile Probation Office, they were made aware. A deputy has spoken with both the parents and the student for a follow-up. Also new on 7, hunting near South Valley neighborhoods is now restricted. The land commissioner says that hunting and trapping will not be allowed on 212 acres of state land along the Bosque next to Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge. The department says the move is to help shield families from stray bullets. Nearly 9 million acres of other state land is open for hunters.
The state legislature is looking for ways to provide universal health care access with some financial models. The Legislative Finance Committee has awarded a nearly $390,000 contract to 3 companies to study the issue. Now, recent proposals from lawmakers to provide this coverage have stalled. New Mexico has cut the uninsured rate in half since expanding Medicaid here 5 years ago. New on 7, the Santa Ana Pueblo is getting money to help revitalize their land. The EPA awarded $70,000 to the Pueblo to help clean up areas contaminated by pollution. The program presents an opportunity to transform that land into a site to attract jobs and improve the economy.
Covering Santa Fe, the state finance authority is asking lawmakers to fund public water system upgrades. According to the New Mexican, the entire project would cost more than $41 million. Part of that money would repair part of the Nichols Dam, which helps bring water to the city of Santa Fe. This is video of crews working on the dam about 4 years ago. State engineers have said the nearly 100-year-old dam is in poor condition. Breaking news we're following. Google co-founders are stepping down from their roles within parent company Alphabet. Larry Page and Sergey Brin founded that company in 1998. The company's CEO will stay in his role and will also become the CEO of Alphabet. Both Page and Brin will remain on the board of the company.
Pretty nice sunset on the west side behind the volcanoes. As you see, this is a live look from our action cam. Now, don't get used to the mild weather. More rain and snow is just past that pretty nice horizon. Chief Meteorologist Joe Diaz tells us who will start seeing that moisture in your certified most accurate forecast.
And you won't have to wait long for it as we go outside. First of all, we remember we were at normal yesterday. Today we're 10 degrees above normal. Normal 58 is where we ended up. Normal is 48. So a big change for us. So a great evening to get outside and do some shopping. But notice as we check out the planner, it does change. As we look at the evening, it'll be very, very pleasant by December status. But as we get into the morning hours, yeah, get that umbrella handy because there'll be some rain showers around. Here's the way it looks with Future Track 7. Pretty much dry skies right now. We'll stop at around 8 o'clock in the morning or so. You see the rain and some snow mixing in between Gallup and Grants on into the northern mountains. So in the morning, this is when this wave of moisture will be moving through. In the afternoon is when it's going to be ending. And as we look ahead, another wave will be impacting us Wednesday night on into Thursday. So we're tracking not one, not two, but 3 waves of moisture. We'll show you which one will be more significant and how it'll impact part of your weekend in my live Super Doppler 7 forecast.
Biology researchers are using flies to help improve human eyesight. New Mexico State University says a team is working to understand the effects of environmental stress on eye structure and function using flies as a model. So far, scientists have found blue light is causing degeneration. That's the same light emitted by phones and digital screens. Fruit flies have a genetic code similar to humans.
Albuquerque city workers are learning to save lives. Project Heart Start teamed up with the city to make sure all employees are trained in CPR and know how to use a defibrillator. At a news conference today, we learned that training is already paying off.
A City of Albuquerque employee attended a lifesaver class. A mere 2 days later, he applied his newly learned skills to help a 15-year-old boy who had been shot in his neighborhood. He recognized what needed to be done, applied direct pressure to his wounds, and effectively stopped the bleeding.
Well, Dr. Ramos started this initiative 10 years ago. His goal is to train every New Mexican in CPR.
The state of New Mexico wants to fill hundreds of vacant jobs next week. Nearly every department is participating in a rapid hire event starting on Wednesday the 11th. Here's how it's going to work. Bring copies of your resume to give to screeners. They'll look through it and help find open jobs to match candidates with. And if you qualify, an interview will be scheduled. The event will be held at Tingley Coliseum at Expo, New Mexico. And if you live outside of Albuquerque, you can just visit a Workforce Connection office to schedule a video interview. Visit the state personnel website to see which department will participate which day.
It is an icon of the Duke City, and some say it officially kicks off the holiday season.
Yeah, we love this. Sasha Leninger shows us the beloved tumbleweed snowman is ready for Christmas.
He's back, and as you travel along I-40, you'll be able to catch a glimpse of the iconic tumbleweed snowman.
Sitting on a forklift, the tumbleweed snowman makes his way to his final resting spot for the holiday season.
He's about 10 feet tall, and he's a little trimmer. He's been on a diet this year.
Albuquerque Metropolitan Arroyo Flood Control Authority starts collecting the tumbleweeds the week before Thanksgiving.
It's always a little stressful. You never know what tumbleweeds you'll find.
And these are the 3 they found, stacked on top of each other. They're each roughly 3 to 5 feet tall and 8 to 9 feet in diameter.
We find them on the east side of the river, the west side of the river. Every so often we go to our allies over in Sandoval County.
Every year, AMAFCA gets several calls about tumbleweeds, but none are ever big enough. That is, until this year.
This year, actually, somebody had one that was about 4 feet tall and round enough for us to use it.
AMAFCA says when you look at this, it should serve as a reminder to recycle.
Nose is an old axe handle. The gloves are old used gloves. The It has a 55-gallon drum that we used in the past.
The tumbleweed snowman has lined the interstate since 1995. This year, he'll stay here until January 2nd. In Albuquerque, I'm Sasha Leninger, KOAT Action 7 News.
The Flooding Control Authority says they can usually pick up a lot of trash before it gets to the river, but they need your help because they can't pick up everything.
A detour you need to know about this weekend for a Christmas parade. The town of Bernalillo says Camino del Pueblo will be closed between Loreto Park and West Avenida Bernalillo. That closure starts at 6:30 p.m. and ends at 8:30 Saturday. And if you're going to the parade, give yourself extra time because of that nasty construction on 550. Well, your smart TV may be spying on you. The FBI says the advanced tech, like cameras and microphones on the devices, could be hacked by cyber criminals. To protect yourself, agents say you should change the default password and update the software. Now, you could also put black tape over the camera lens or disable the microphone.
Well, today is Giving Tuesday, and organizations urge people to give a gift, whether it's time, donations, goods, or your voice. Both UNM and NMSU are holding Giving Tuesday campaigns. Your gift may be matched if you donate to the Aggies or many other colleges and causes as well. To find other ways to give back, you can visit givingtuesday.org. You can also donate a new coat to our Coats for Kids drive. You can drop off new coats at any one of our sponsors you see there on your screen. We'll be at More Furniture for Less at Cottonwood this Friday to visit with you and accept more donations if you can stop by and visit. Our drive runs through December 20th.
Next on 7, officers searching an empty lot for clues in a missing persons case 20 years old. Why they say even with no new information, they may have a lead.
President Trump says pay up or pay the price. I'm Bree Jackson in Washington, and I'll tell you about the warning President Trump sent to NATO partners.
And coming up all new on Action 7 News at 6, New Mexico isn't a hotbed for an earthquake, as we know, but we'll tell you how scientists at LANL are working to detect quakes before they happen.
And it's time for another check on Traffic Watch 7 with Kiki Garcia.
Good afternoon. We are still looking good. There are no accidents reported at this time. We do have a backup out there, though. On westbound 40, you're seeing a backup from the interchange all the way to Louisiana right now. Just take your time there. It's also very slow going on Paseo as well. For News Radio 94.5 FM, I'm Kiki Garcia for Traffic Watch 7.
Thank you. Here are a look at the drive times right now. All three of these in the red. Central between Tingley and Unser, 9 minutes. Bridge to Coors, 16. Rio Bravo to Coors, 19.